killer message, and he could have stopped at that, I would have said yes. And when I have Mike Abramowitz excited to give a message on top of the already killer information that he gives consistently and on the drop of us, on call reference, I just know we're going to get something really straight. Mike has been masterfully organizing pushes for over a decade in his Clearwater office. And these are just some simple strategies that I've seen him implement over and over and over and over again. I'm excited for Mike to share both how to handle objections on the phone and on the demonstration. We have full time here because we're not. So Mike, take the full time that you prefer. We have plenty of time to buffer by just eliminating opening comment portions of the elect, and we'll still get full time for your message, full time for rep driven, and we're gonna end with lots of results today. We're gonna end with lots of information for you after this message. We're gonna end with lots of PRs for your Bahama credit, and then till then we're gonna learn with learning all of our management skills for the holiday. Okay, so Mr. Mark, what's good things over to you? Thank you, and let's give some love all the way from the East Coast of Florida to the West Coast.
All right, yay! I know him. Cool. So I want to start off by saying there's an awesome quote by Zig Ziglar, and Zig Ziglar said that selling is essentially the transference of feeling. So selling is essentially the transference of feeling. I went and invested a couple years ago. I invested some good money into watching Jordan Belfort speak, and some of you guys might know Jordan Belfort as the Wolf on Wall Street. And what's interesting is now Jordan Belfort's all over social media, and he has like courses and all these cool things that he's doing. But this was before he started that, and he started these speaking endeavors because he had to pay back all the money that he pretty much, quote unquote, stole from all those people. So he can't make a dollar of his own money until he pays all that money back. For those of you guys that saw Wolf on Wall Street. And so he's doing all these speaking events and all these products and these courses and everything, just pretty much to pay back all of his debts. And when I saw him speak, he said there's different types of voice inflections that create certain feelings in people. And one of the examples that I've heard before, but he actually used at the seminar, was he said he wrote down the words on this little flip chart, and I'll write down the words for you. And the words were, I'll put it on the back of the sheet of paper, and a whiteboard is cool, but the words were, I didn't say he beat his wife. Those are the words he wrote down on a sheet of on a whiteboard. I didn't say he beat his wife. And he explained how inflections can change the meanings of what you're saying. So if you inflect the word I, for example, I didn't say he beat his wife, that creates a different meaning in that sentence if I emphasize on he. I didn't say he beat his wife. So if I say, I didn't say he beat his wife, what's the meaning of that sentence? I didn't say it. If I say, I didn't say he beat his wife, that's saying I said it, but it was the wrong person. If I inflect on his wife, I can say, I didn't say he beat his wife. That means he did it. He just beat somebody else's wife. If I inflect on wife, it's like, I didn't say he beat his wife. He did it. It was just someone else. Maybe it was a cat or a dog. So you literally change the inflection on different words, and it changes the what? It changes the meaning of what you're saying. So essentially, inflections and your enthusiasm will change the meanings of what you're trying to get across, is what Jordan Belfort talked about, which is the Wolf on Wall Street. He said there's different inflections. He said there's something like 26 or 27 different inflections you could use, but the main ones, he's talking secrecy. He said urgency. He says enthusiasm. He says excitement. He says certainty. He says timid. These are all different voice inflections that you have. He said if you just master 3 or 4 of the main key ones, maybe 5 or 6, you will master the phones. So bringing that to this space and bringing that to our push and bringing that to this handout, I want to help you know, like, your inflections and enthusiasm, it's not necessarily the words you're saying, it's how you're saying it. And that's why I think it's important that we're going to do a little bit of role play, a little bit of pair share, put you on the spot a little bit, and help you kind of strengthen some of the muscles and the repetition of practice with the inflection. So we're going to start on the phone, and there's 2 types of closing. There's front end closing, which is phone closing to set up the appointment. And then there's back end closing, which is locking down the sale. So there's two types of closing: front end closing, back end closing. Front end closing to lock down the appointment, back end closing to get the credit card number. So those are two types of closings. We're going to talk about both today. We're going to start with the phones, front end closing to get the appointment. So phone objections and tips. Those are a couple of tips at the top. You may have heard these before. Simple reviews. Simple reviews, Karina mentioned them. I'll mention them. Just sound like they're expecting a call. I know Jeff talked about that too. Sound like you're setting up the appointment. You're not asking for the appointment. Those are two different things. Setting up the appointment is like, I was hoping we could find a time that could work for you, versus I'm calling to arrange the time that could work for you, right? What time of day is better for you, this time or this time? And I'm calling to set up the appointment versus ask for the appointment. And I think it's important to also know that some will, some won't. So what? Who's next, right? Like, you don't have to win every single phone call, but at the same time, when you end the phone call, you want to keep your confidence level high. So for example, if someone says that I can't do the appointment, and they say, no, we can't do the appointment, I want to make sure I end that phone call not feeling deflated or defeated. So the objections I'm going to give you are going to be really helpful to make sure that when you end that phone call, you can end with a smile on your face and say, man, I gave it my best. I feel good and I'm ready to make that next phone call, versus the old call me back later, and it's like, oh man, I just spent so much energy on that call and I feel deflated. So we want to help you feel very excited, very confident, very good at the end of that call, and fight for the demo and fight for the sale on the front end close. So let's give you some examples. The three main objections that I believe that you're going to hear most during this holiday season are the ones that are on the sheet. Really it's two. The two are really the main one you're going to hear is I'm busy, but it's disguised different ways. So the first bullet, which is before offering the two times, to create a high level of urgency. So in order to create a high level of urgency with your customer, you want to sound like this. I'll do the voice inflection. This would be an invitation for you to take out your voice memo on your cell phone so you could record the inflection. So before your all-day call days and before you do your calls, you can have the inflections and you can listen to those and practice them before you do your appointment. Obviously, this is being recorded on YouTube, but it's always nice to have it on your voice memos on your phone. So I'll go ahead and start in 3, 2, 1. Ms. Jones, I know it's Christmas weekend, and I'm sure you have a lot going on, because I know I do, but I only need 5 more appointments set up for this week and next in order to stay on pace with my goal to pay for my entire spring semester. I wouldn't be able to stay long, but is there any way you could squeeze me in for a quick appointment on Sunday at 5 before Christmas, or Thursday at 2 p.m. after Christmas? Which one would be better for you? It would really help me out. So that's a simple voice inflection there. Now, why would you want to set up appointments before Christmas if you're doing your calls for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? Because you want to get their recommendations, and you want to get those texted recommendations, those easy alley-oop recommendations, get the Facebook post, and that's going to help you set up that all-day call day. So you don't necessarily have to wait to book up appointments. You can book them up because those recommendations are going to help you out. So just a thought for you guys there. You could still do appointments all the way till the end of the Vector calendar year, which is December 26th. So that's before offering the 2 times. Now, as far as I have family in town. They're going to have family in town. What's nice about Florida is this is where a lot of people end up coming. Usually they're going to be hosting the family. So this is the verbiage that I like to use. So again, I'd encourage you to record it. I'll show you what it sounds like in 3, 2, 1. Oh, Mike, I'd love to, but I have family coming to town. Oh, that's awesome. Where are they coming from? Oh, Georgia? Very cool. Well, I'm sure you don't get to see them too often. So it's so nice of you to invite me over in order to meet your family and do the appointment, even though we haven't even met yet. I'm just kidding. Well, I'll tell you, Ms. Jones, the appointment is really quick. It's a lot of fun. It would be so amazing if you could fit me in around the festivities. It is Christmas, the time for being merry, and I'll definitely tell Santa you were nice this year. I could do the appointment earlier in the day on Thursday morning at 10 a.m. or later in the evening at 6 p.m. If you think we can make that work, I really, really appreciate it. So that's the inflections. It's silly, it's corny, it's nerdy, it's dorky. But I'll tell you right now, you weren't going to get the appointment before because they already had saying a family in town. But by you fighting for the appointment and giving that extra effort, you have a very good chance that you're going to convert that into an appointment if you sound cutesy and fun and someone that they want to meet. That would be number one. Number two is if she still says no, at least when I hang up the phone, I'm not going to feel defeated or deflated. I'm going to feel, hey, at least I gave it a shot. I fought for it. I'm ready to fight for the next one too. So that's that one. That's how the objection would sound on that. And then the last one, if they say, call me back later. Call me back, we'll see. Once my family leaves town, call me back later. This one I love. This is a great one. This works really well. I remember teaching this to Ella Blaisdell during the summer for SE2, and she went from having a tremendous number of callbacks to ended up booking up something like 22 or 23 appointments for her SE2 push. Just this one little phrase, this one little tweak, just a couple summers ago. So ready? I'll start this up in 3, 2, 1. So Mike, why don't you just call me back after Christmas? We'll see, and we'll go from there. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for agreeing to help me out, Miss Jones. I know your friend Susie said you were nice, but she didn't tell me you were this nice. It would be amazing if we could set up a time right now, and I'll pencil it in, and then I'll call you to confirm, because I really need to have my schedule booked to stay on track towards my goals. Did you want to pencil something in for Saturday morning at 8 a.m.? Or do you think like Saturday at noon would be better if you had to guess? If you had to guess. So that voice inflection there again, it creates an opportunity for you to get the appointment. Yes, it's penciled in, but I promise you when your customer looks at their calendar, like they're going to look at a monthly calendar, it's on the fridge or right next to the fridge, and they'll say like, doctor appointment here. They'll say, pick up soccer practice here. And then there'll be one thing on the schedule. Instead of it being blank, it will say your name. And if there's at least something on the calendar, they're less likely to book something in its place. They don't go through detailed time management planning in most cases. They just have it on a monthly calendar. So let me come up for some air on the phones, on the phone objections before we do a quick role play, and then we'll transition into the selling process. So. Questions, comments?
Is this appropriate time for some light bulbs, Michael, or we hold up till the end?
Yeah, let's take two or maybe two or three from each hub. Any light bulbs on that? Just anything. I'd like to put 1 or 2 people on the spot to do those 3 that I just did, just to give them a practice run, and that we can see what it looks like. That way we can model. Someone can model it. Then we'll have each of you guys pair share real quick and partner, just to go through it, maybe like once each on them, and then I'll transition into selling.
Here in pilot, 1 or 2 quick light bulbs. Go ahead, Louis.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah, so he's just talking about the importance of inflection, right? Good. Then you guys learned that first day training. Oh, okay, cool. What else?
Just knowing the expression for the callback later, just say if you had to guess, just a much more effective way, like let's just set one tentatively, like if you had to choose this one would be better for you if you had to guess, makes it seem a lot better than just like we tentatively said something and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, when someone says that to me, I know it's not happening. Tentatively setting, for me as an adult, agreeing to someone tentatively wanting to set something is my way of getting them off the phone, or getting off the topic. Can we tentatively? Yeah, sure, but I'm going to cancel on you. Cool. Okay, we'll go to Tampa. 1 or 2 light bulbs.
And in that breath, the reason why I get the tentative, and even though there's a chance it's going to cancel, it was going to be a non-book anyway. So you're going from a non-book to a possible. So you were still not getting the appointment. This is a last resort type of thing, but you have a better chance of getting the appointment if it was penciled in than not getting it at all. So that's a last resort type of thing. So, but especially during this time of the year, it's better to get something penciled in than a callback. I'd much rather have a penciled in than a callback, but I'd much rather have a demo booked set in stone than a penciled in, of course. If you understand. So just this is not the way, but it's better than a call me back later.
Okay, might we have a comment from Andrew here? Oh no, sorry, just kidding. We do not have a comment from Andrew.
Any light bulbs here in Tampa? Stephen, Amanda? Or Stephen and Nick, I'm sorry.
Set the appointment rather than asking for it.
So just set it versus ask for it. Yep.
Yeah, that was the same point I had. Just having that mindset before you make the call that you're going to set it and not ask for it is going to help you.
Cool.
Okay, and then we'll do one more. Eddie De La Hoya.
Ending your phone calls, making sure you end your phone calls. You want to make sure that.
Right, and here's the difference between professionals and non in anything, sports and in Cutco and everything in between. It's how can you bring a great performance A player every single time? How is your technique proper all the time? You know, the difference between many differences, but one significant between professional, meaning I get paid to do what other people do recreationally, that I can do it consistently with the right technique at a professional level all the time. And if I don't, it's very rare. So just food for thought. Okay. So Michael, what would you like us to do now? This is role play.
Yeah, I'd like to put one or two people on the spot real quick. I guess 3, one for each of them, just so we could see what the model looks like, and put them on the spot, and then we'll do a quick a pair share, and then we'll transition to selling. So,
Okay,
who?
so why don't you put someone on the spot, then we'll go to Puerto Rico for any light bulbs, and then we'll do
Who
the.
in here wants to give a shot? Cool. We got Joshy. So Josh will go doing the before offering 2 times. Let's show everyone what it's supposed to sound like. See what it sounds like. Perfect.
Hey, no pressure, Josh.
I know it's Christmas weekend, and I'm sure you have a lot going on, because I know I do, but I only need 5 more appointments to set up for this week and next week in order to stay on pace with my goal to pay for my entire spring semester. I won't be able to stay for long, but is there any way you could squeeze me in for a really quick appointment at Thursday at 6, or do you think Friday at 7 would be better for you? It would really, really help me out.
Excellent. Excellent. So is there any way, so I would underline that just so you have that emphasis, right? So you saw how he emphasized, is there any way you could squeeze me in? And then this week or next, right? So this week and next. So I just need 5 more appointments set up for this week and next in order to stay on pace. So that's kind of like a pretty long sentence there, but then the offers in 2 times. Excellent. Cool. Then who's going to do the next one? Puerto Rico? I have family in town.
We'll do. Christina Fernandez wants to volunteer.
Cool. This one's a little tricky just because it's a long sentence and it takes a little personality, but.
Now do you understand what's going on? The connection.
One second.
Cool.
So Puerto Rico's not pushing. We don't redeem technical difficulties to the push. Close to what? Yeah, we'll come back to Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Mike, give us one over here. We'll come back to Puerto Rico. Give us one over. Which one do you want?
Yeah, I have family in town. This one, so that way we can.
I'd like to volunteer. I've got family in town. Okay, Marley, why don't you come over here so we can project a little bit. Just one seat ahead, one seat in front. All right, when you're ready, go for it.
That's awesome. Where are they from? That's awesome. Where are they from?
Off from Atlanta.
Well, I'm sure you'll get us in often. It's so nice if you could find the order to your family, you can run it, even though we haven't met yet. I'm just kidding. The appointment is really quick and it's a lot of fun. It would be so amazing if you could be in around the festivities. It is Christmas, the time for being married, and I'll definitely tell Santa you were nice this year. I can do earlier in the day on Thursday at 3, or later in the evening at 7, if you think we can make that work. If you do, I'd really appreciate this.
Okay, cool. And that's our first shot, right? And I think here's what I will say just right off the bat. This is why we role play. Okay, that first one I probably wouldn't have booked a appointment with you, right? Only because I didn't understand. So as much as inflection is important, what's also just as important, speed and enunciation, which is, by the way, that's a practice away from perfecting.
Yeah.
But especially when you're pulling off a joke. Just ready? Listen to me for a second. Especially when you're pulling off a joke. Where are all my DMs at? Yeah. Is your friend? Do you have any friends? What's that from? What joke is that from? So do you have any friends? 7 steps to a sale. Right? Ask for the order. So would you like to go on a date? So here's what's interesting. If you tell the joke, but you speak through it,
You gotta land it. You gotta land the joke.
they don't get it, right? So Mrs. Jones, oh, how great. So, like, first of all, where are they coming from? I said Atlanta. You didn't even recognize it. But that's what Marley, where are they coming from? Okay, great. And then it's like, I don't care. I'm not listening to you. I'm getting to what I want to get to. Marley, where are they coming from? Atlanta. Oh, cool. You have a lot of family there? Cool. You know, it's so great that you got everyone to come into town for me to do the presentation for. That's so I'm just kidding. Take your time, and you have to have that, in that case, a sarcastic part. But it is so perfect, Danny, that you've got everyone lined up for me to do all these Cutco appointments for. No, just kidding, I know. But anyway, it would be really great if slow and then inflection, and then Adrian's a point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, after doing the two batteries, like for, oh, thanks so much for getting your whole family there for your house. It's just like,
Yeah, exactly. That's why you have to practice.
That's
Okay.
exactly why we're gonna practice this. You got it.
We'll go back to Puerto Rico. Which one were we
So
doing?
call me back later. Call me back later, and we'll see.
Christina, call me back later.
Okay, thank you so much for agreeing to help me out. I know Mrs. Jones said you were super nice, but she didn't tell me you were this nice. It would be amazing if you could set up a time right now and pencil it in, and then I'll call you to confirm because I really need to have my schedule booked to stay on track towards my goals. Do you want to pencil in tomorrow at 10, or do you think tomorrow at 12 would be better, if you have to guess?
Excellent.
Cool.
You saw some knives. Okay.
Yeah.
Mike, comment thought?
Yeah. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go do a quick pair share. Find a partner. I'd like for you to at least get through it once each, just real quick. Get a feel for it. Okay. Get a feel for it.
By the way, Michael, just no music because it
Nope.
does copyright thing on the YouTube.
Yep. No music. Just go ahead. We're gonna go through it. So find a partner. Find someone nearby you real quick. Turn to a neighbor. Turn to someone next to you.
You, Michael, why don't you come over in here with
Cool. So what we'll do is so two of you guys over here, and may sound partner with you. Two of you guys over there. Perfect. And let's go ahead and just do these each once each. Cool. Once each.
So you want to go? I want to walk. You want to go another over there? I want to walk. I want to stand up.
Your family's out? That's awesome. Where are you from? Georgia. Oh, I'm sure you probably Georgia. Well, I'm sure you're going to see that. It's so nice of you to invite them to be over and the entire family. Even though we have but the agreement is really quick. It's a lot of fun. It'd be amazing if you could be around this. It is Christmas. There's time for being there. Definitely tell Santa you're nice and sweet. Like you do earlier in the day on Saturday, or later around 5 p.m.
Tell me your family.
I would say now they get work.
That's awesome. I actually am cross-training this Monday.
That's awesome. Where are you from? Where are they from? They're coming from New York. Oh, we're in New York. Yeah. Well, I'm just getting that off. It's so nice of you. You're inviting over. We're all there too. I'm just kidding. Oh, I was gonna say. I'm just kidding. The appointment is really quick and it's a lot of fun. It'd be amazing if we could take you around Christmas. It is Christmas, of course. The time of being married.
I could do
I'll
it
definitely
real
send it to my sister. I think earlier today tomorrow around 9 or earlier in the evening tomorrow around 5. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for agreeing to help me out. I know Mrs. Jones said you were nice and she was here with this. It's been amazing. It's all time right now. And I'll point it out. So I really need to have my schedule and stay on track. Tomorrow I'm free. So next Monday I know it's Christmas weekend. I know it's Christmas weekend. I'm sure you have a lot going on. I know I do. But I only need 5 more points. Monday at 2. Or like Tuesday at 3. By the time I would never stay too long. Any day is on Saturday or Sunday or actually. I don't really think I ever had it's not really my style.
It's just a tool. All right. You guys went through it? Good?
We're doing
Once each? You got through each of them? Cool. Give your partner a high five. Great job. All right. So here's so before I transition, I just want to let you know these are tools. So you could choose to modify the tool, you could choose to use the tool, or you could choose to not use the tool. Totally up to you. But at least you have a resource now that's like, okay, what is the objective that I'm trying to get across? Number one, before offering the times, I want to make sure I have a high level of urgency. And I just gave you another way to create urgency. As far as I have family in town, I wanted to give you a playful way to help a customer feel excited to meet you in a playful way that might make them change their, interrupt their pattern, make them laugh and say, all right, I'll help this college kid out. So all that, you don't have to use my playful state or playful way, but you could come up with a playful way to say something similar or the same thing. And the call me back, the tool there is just get something in the schedule versus a call me back later. Because now you're doing twice the work for the same appointment, and every time you sit down and make that phone call and try to catch up with that person, that call takes 2 minutes. 2 minutes out of your jam, 60 seconds out of your jam, every time you call this person just to follow back up with them. It's just, now you're playing the whole cat and mouse thing. You want to avoid it as much as possible. So these are tools to help with the phones. Let's transition into the actual demo, closing, dropping down process as well. So to set a pre-frame for this, this right here, again, you all have sold knives. You know how to sell knives. You've done this for quite some time now in some cases. Again, these are tools that I use to establish a little credibility for myself that Carlos said my last winter break selling Cutco in the field. And I had the first week of the year, I had a $9,000 week, and that set me up for an $18,000 month using some of the tools that I'm going to share with you right now. Maybe that's a lot, maybe it's a little. It was at the time a region record breaker for the month of January. And these are some ways I modified my dropping down to help during the post-holiday type of season. So that's what I'm going to share with you right now. The first, it says Big Mufa. Big Mufa. Big Mufa is what I used to do as a student. And that's when I wrote it down on paper, I would always write the big number, and then I'd write the monthly, and then the weekly, and then I'd write the free stuff, and then I would ask them for the order. And it was a process I always remembered from, I don't even know where I learned it, but it was Big Mufa every time I presented the price. So I put the big number, and now obviously these prices are a little outdated, but I put the big number, draw a line, the monthly or the weekly. I would circle the monthly or the weekly, one of the two, whichever you want, and I would write what they get for free shears, and then I asked for the orders with a lot of confidence. So let's go through the objections that you can anticipate that you're going to hear. This isn't a might. You will hear this objection. That you will hear, Stephen, I would love to buy this set from you. It's just I spent all my money during Christmas and we are just broke. We overspent this year. Now, let me help you with mindset before I give you skill set. Is that true?
No.
Negatory. They did not spend all their money. They probably spent, it is probably a fact that they spent more than they wanted to spend. Yes. But that's a feeling. That doesn't necessarily mean they're out of cash flow. It just means I don't feel like spending more money because I just spent money. That's all that is. However, if it is a really good deal and it's presented in a way that makes them feel 100% certain that it is a good investment of their money, then they will spend it. But they need that certainty, and that certainty comes from you. So how can we help them feel certain that this, even though they feel like they've overspent, that it's still you give them to give themselves permission. You're inviting them to give themselves permission to still spend money even though they just overspent. And how you give them permission to spend, I just witnessed it at Tony Robbins. I just witnessed from the stage people that just spent $5,000 to $10,000 a ticket to go watch this event, and they ended up raising donations for his Tony Robbins Youth Foundation, $700,000 raised. Ready? From stage. There was 5,000 participants. So on average, that's like over 10 grand that they raised per person on average. Ready? Then they sold Business Mastery, which was another $10,000. They ended up filling up the seats for that. 100 people signed up for Business Mastery. 20% of the room spent another 10 grand on a seminar. Then they had a platinum partnership where 22 people signed up for platinum partnership, which is $85,000 a year. 22 people signed up for that. I witnessed people dropping money left and right after they've already spent 5 to 10 grand just to be in the room. Why? Because they presented it in a confident way. They weren't like scared of like, oh my God, the holidays. They wouldn't. It was like, oh, the holidays are coming up, so if you want to spend the money, you should. It was like leading with a level of influence where they knew with 100% certainty that if you don't buy today, you're going to miss out. And there's 3 levels of influence. My staff knows this. The first level of influence is you give information. It's passive influence. You give information in hopes that they come to their own decision. So it's I give you information, then I ask a question. So what do you think? Passive influence. Then there's mutual decision making. Mutual decision making is the second level of influence, which is I'm going to give you the information, and then I'll tell you what I think, and then we'll make a decision together. That's mutual level of influence. And then there is 100% certainty influence, which would be assertive influence. Assertive influence, which is I know this is in your best interest more than you know it at this moment in time. So I'm going to, over the top, lots of enthusiasm, express the importance of why you need this and help you make this decision and hold your hand and guide you to a yes. I'm going to hold your hand and guide you to a yes right now. Third level of influence. So you can choose which level of influence you want to have during your closing process. So let's go through it. Let's go through the tools. Let's go through the techniques and the words that you have here. So, Ms. Jones, so what do you think? Did you want to go ahead and get that today? You want to get the homemaker set, kitchen system, ultimate signature, or you're closing on? We're going to assume you're just doing training manual, homemaker, keep it simple. Do you want to go and get that set today? Relax, you're chilling. No. Say you have we'll go Joshy. We'll say no holidays.
No, holidays.
Dude, come on. Hey, no problem at all. Did you like Cutco?
Yeah.
Yeah? What'd you like most about it? What was your favorite part?
Just the name. It's catchy.
It is. I love it absolutely. So immediately I'm going to relax my body. I'm going to nod my head, and I'm going to ask 2 questions. I'm going to ask a question that says, did you like Cutco, which goes from a no to a yes. And I'm going to ask them, what do you like most about it, which allows them to build value and resell themselves on why they like the product line. That's an automatic. That's in there. That's a head nod. That's simple. And they're, oh my gosh, they're awesome, aren't they? I'll get another yes. Reaffirm the yes even more. Did you like it? Yeah. What did you like most about it? Oh, I like the handle. I know. Isn't that handle amazing? Yes. I want to get as many yeses as I can. So if you don't mind me asking, what is it about the homemaker you're unsure of? Training manual stuff. Now, this is where you could up-level your influence if you want to be in that 3rd level of influence. Feel, felt, found. Ms. Jones, I totally understand how you feel. In fact, the other day, I had a customer with the exact same concern, and I've heard many other people have felt the exact same way during the holidays last year. Especially if you're new, you haven't experienced it. I know I understand how you feel. In fact, I had a customer the other day with the exact same concern, and I've heard many others who felt the exact same way last year during the holiday season as well. But what a lot of our customers have found is that by trying them out for a couple of weeks was the best way for them to really see how it's a worthwhile investment, even though none of them planned on falling in love with Cutco during the appointment. So let me ask you the same question that we asked those customers. If you had Cutco in the kitchen, would you use it? Great. Because it wouldn't make sense for you to spend money on something you would never use. So part of my job is just to show you all of the options and see if we might be able to find something that works for you and your family. The next option is called the galley set. Most people found it very appealing because it has almost everything the homemaker has. It's a few less knives, it's a lot less money, and Consumers Digest gave it the best buy certificate out of every set of knives in the world. And it's only missing the least used items from the homemaker, and it comes with paring knife, trimmer, spatula tray. You guys know that. So big mufa, big. So it's only $9.19, only $199 a month, $50 a week. I still give you the super shears for free. So could you see how that's such a popular option? Small, yes. So does that option work a little bit better for you, or would you like me to show you a different option? Now, this is a little psychology here of a yes or yes question. Now, I'm not telling you to interrupt or change your clothes. If what you're doing is working, do it. But what I have found during this holiday season, I want to refrain from my customers saying the word no. I want to do my best to have my customer not say the word no. So I'm asking a yes or yes question. Yes, do you want to buy this? Or yes, would you like to see another option? Now, this is not, I'm not saying do this, but I'm inviting you to consider this as an option. Ms. Jones, does that option work better for you? Or would you like me to would you like me to show you a different option? Yes, show me a different option. Or yes, that works better for me. So that way I'm not having my customer say the word no, because I don't want to bring that into the equation at all. So that's what I'm inviting you to consider for your drop down during here. The rest of the drop down has a couple other phrases, but let me kind of come up for some air, because this might be a little bit new. It might be a little sexy, it might be cool. Maybe it's something you would use, maybe it's something you wouldn't use. But the tools that I'm offering here, ready? Feel, felt, found. Feel, felt, found. I understand how you feel. Other people have found, I understand how you feel. I've found that people have felt this way in the past, and this is why they felt this way. Or I understand how you feel. Many others felt the same way. We found this is the solution. So feel, felt, found, and then using your transition. So that's pretty simple, pretty textbook there. Let me open up for any questions. I know Amanda had a question, and then I'll go through the rest of the drop down. Amanda, then Josh, and then we'll go into virtual land, or well, your live land. But
let's say they break their pattern and they say no, they don't want to buy it, and no, they don't want to see any of the options.
So it depends on how much control, your level of influence. So the only reason why someone would say, no, I don't want to see another option, no, I don't want to buy, is if you're in a first level of influence, which is a passive influence, and therefore you're giving them 100% control of the decision. It's the only way that would happen. And that comes from your confidence and your certainty and your ability to influence another person. Where that comes from is personal congruence with your product. If you have personal congruence with your product and service, and knowing with 100% certainty they deserve to have the best product in the world, that money is not an object at all, and whatever they spend money on with me today, in 30 years from now, is going to be insignificant. That if they go ahead and spend $1,000 with me today, in 30 or 40 years from now, using easy math, that's $25 a year. $1,000 today is $25 a year. That's all it is. That is $2 a month. $2 a month? Are you shitting me? Sorry. Are you kidding me? Right now, that $2 a month is going to get in the way for the next 40 years on why they shouldn't own a homemaker set. It is 50 cents a week. 50 cents a week on why they can't spend $1,000 for the next 40 years. It is insignificant. And my personal congruency needs to outweigh their uncertainty. So the only reason I'll say no or no is if I didn't do that on my presentation. Maybe that's intense. Maybe that's a little intense. But it takes a little bit of intensity to explain why they should spend another $1,000 with you when they just spent thousands of dollars on gifts. So we'll go Josh and then Nick, and then anyone over in the other offices, please.
So do you feel like the question, does this work a little better for you, or do you like me to show you a different option? Do you feel like that's kind of an easy cop-out to drop
100%.
down to the galley?
100% is a cop-out, and 100% it does give them an opportunity to drop down without a doubt. And I know it goes against a lot of what we learn. I only use that during this time of the year specifically because I don't want my customer to say the word no, and that's it. That's it. So I just want to give them the option. And believe it or not, who I learned this from is Jamie King. And Jamie King is the queen of holiday selling. And this is where I learned this from and adopted this principle from, is during the holiday season, just help them avoid the word no as much as possible. So Nick, and then we'll go anyone in the pilot and other offices, and then I'll transition.
Do you think acknowledging the struggle of it being the holiday season in your clothes the same way as you would
Mike, can you repeat this question?
Yeah, I'm trying to gather it too.
as you would when you're booking the appointment helps when you're closing?
So addressing the struggles of the holiday season, the answer to that question is 100% no, because it's not a struggle to spend money during the holiday season. In fact, it's really easy to spend money during the holiday season.
I mean, I meant as
The concern of them spending already?
Yeah, like
So-
addressing it before they even.
100%. So addressing the concern before it comes up, here's what I would say. And this is textbook in your training manual, right? Hey, like I said on the phone, you don't have to buy anything. In fact, most people don't, choose that they're not going to buy anything because of the holidays. However, once they see how good Cutco is and how it's a logical buy, how it saves them time, money, and energy, with all the post-holiday specials that we have going on, the prices are the lowest end of the year. End of year closeouts are right now. The discounts are as high as $1,500. It's up to you if you want to buy. Like Carlos said, it's up to you if you want to buy. 90% of the time, people are choosing the purchase because the deals are so good. If that happens, don't feel bad. It happens all the time. Happens all the time. I'll just show you all the options at the end. Then when we get to the end, Ms. Jones, like I said in the beginning, on this deal right here, here's our special. You get $200 in free Cutco if you decide to do this today because of the end of the year blowout. What would you do with your $200 of free Cutco? Would you spend it on you or spend it on somebody else? You? What would you get? Super Shears, kitchen tools, or entertainer back? Entertainer back? That's a great choice. So what do you think? Do you want to go and do that? Or would you like to see a different option? Thank you. So, and this is me selling Cutco at $300,000 in sales with a tremendous amount of confidence. But if I could transfer a little bit of that confidence to you during this time of year, maybe that could help you sell and help these customers feel comfortable spending their money, because you're going to hear it. You will hear a customer saying, oh, I just spent so much money on the holidays. I want to equip you and align you that is a bunch of BS. That's all it is. Because they did, but it's just a feeling. That's all it is. A belief system. That's a belief system BS, right? Cool. Anyone out there in the other offices, question or comment?
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, so do not say, are you shitting me?
Spending a little bit of time with Tony Robbins. I've slipped
I know.
many curse words the last week.
Here's what Mike said this in passing. And I think this is for this group, especially because we have had, to be nice, less than desirable push results recently. Mindset before skill set. Okay? You yourself, we ourselves, like Mike just said right there, we have to be sold. And I think the questions were good questions. I'm not knocking, I don't even know who asked those questions. But like, we can't be wondering, hey, are people going to buy this? You're done. You're done before you set the appointment if that's what you're asking yourself. Are people going to buy? I can tell you they buy. I can tell you 2009 in January, our Baltimore office, from the day after Christmas, the 26th, all the way until the end of this push, sold over $222,000 worth of Cutco. We had 4 10K fast starters. And those are the people who finished all the way through versus we had a lot of people in between. We saw a lot of Cutco, okay? Because, if you go to Galleria Mall, if you go to, what's the mall by the Tampa airport I always go to?
International
Mall, if I go to Plaza in San Juan, if I go to all those malls, if I go to anywhere in Miami, all those malls are empty the day after Christmas, right? No, they're packed. I'm there. They're packed all week. They're packed in January. They're packed. We sell Cutco at these kiosks. Andy said, and I quote, we are selling so much Cutco during the kiosk this year. It's fun. Okay? People will spend, and then ready? Even after they spend and they're broke, they get past what's called buyer's what? That's from training, and they will spend again. Because ready? Some of you are doing it, but with just a few less zeros on your account. Like, I do it, and I have more zeros than you. You do it with less than zeros. It's the same emotional, oh, I'm broke, oh my gosh, right? You just spent, ready? Your budget in your mind is 200. You just dropped 350. Let's get Chipotle. I'm broke. Right? My budget's 200. I spent 180. Let's get Chipotle. Cool. My budget's 200. I spent 50. Let's get Chipotle. Oh, it's on me. So mindset. We have to frame ourselves that we are going to sell a lot of Cutco, and people want and need to buy Cutco year-round because eating isn't seasonal.
Nope.
Saving money isn't seasonal.
Nope.
Right? Cutco doesn't just sell seasonal. Do you know that the factory has inventory? Like there's no inventory that just sits there because we're always selling year round. We don't have an inventory issue with Cutco. In fact, we have, Mike, you know involved in this. What's the issue we have every couple of years and as of recently with the inventory?
Yeah, we sold out of ice cream scoops a couple years ago. It was on back
We
order.
sold so much more than the company can make. That's
Yeah.
our problem. We never have I don't know where to keep all those products we're not selling. I'm just saying. Michael, thank you. Go ahead.
Cool. So again, the main objective of me talking about objections as I started this message, as Zig Ziglar said, selling is essentially the transference of feeling. You're transferring your feeling to the customer. And that's why I wanted to give you those 3 levels of influence, or 3 phases of influence, because the tools and the phrases, they don't matter. They're just a tool. There's a lot of different ways to dig a hole. You could have a shovel, you could use your hands, you could use a little sand bucket, or you could get a backhoe. There's so many different ways to dig a hole. They're all tools. It's just some of those tools are going to get you more dirt, dig a bigger hole than the others. So I'm giving you a tool that can help you when you connect and land with this tool. You should be able to position yourself. Maybe you sell more than my $9,000 in a week that I did. Maybe you sell less, but at least you have the tools of what I use. And I'm presenting those tools to you. So let's go ahead and transition. So the rest of the drop down, I'll just do it live for you, just so it's recorded and you can see what it looks like. And then we'll have some time for Q&A and ideally one role play session where each of you could get through one of the drop downs and get a feel for it, how it feels. So could you see why that's such a popular option? Yeah, does that option work a little bit better for you? Or would you like me to show you a different option? Yeah, that doesn't work. Why don't you, let me see something else. Great. Hey, by the way, Ms. Jones, please don't mistake my enthusiasm for Cutco as being like rude or pushy. I just really love Cutco. And I think everyone should have a chance to own it. So I want to do a good job at showing you all of your options and just see if we might be able to find something that works for you and your family. See, the next option are our starter packages. While the Homemaker is the most popular and the Galley set's really popular too, these are the most purchased because they fit into most people's budgets. In fact, they break down to as little as like 20 to 30 bucks a week. So we even call them the Chipotle sets because that's what my friends spend on Chipotle each week, like 20 to 30 bucks. So let me show these packages to you. The first one is the Essentials. It comes with, the next is our studio set, comes with Space Saver, Kitchenette, All Night. Those are all the packages. Which package do you like best? And by the way, side note, timeout, I like the word package just because I learned that, I believe, from Kathy Christian, that she calls them packages instead of sets, like starter packages, just because it sounds like more appealing and easier for them to say yes to. So that was her reasoning. I stole it and adopted it and I liked it. So which package do you like the best? That package is awesome. Well, it only runs for $500, 5 payments of $100 a month. That's only $25 a week out of the budget. I could still give you the Super Shears for free. Could you see why that's one of the most purchased options we have? Get the small yes. That's a test close. Could you see why that's a pretty popular option, Ms. Jones, for only 25 bucks a week?
Yeah.
So what do you think? Did you want to get started on that set of Cutco, or would you like to see another option?
I think I probably want to see another option.
So I'm getting a small yes before I get asked for the big yes. And if they say I want to see another option, cool, that's another yes. Hey, no sweat. Ms. Jones, while these sets are very popular, most people customize their own set when they purchase Cutco. They pick and choose their favorites, and we put a package together for them of what they would use most often. And this way, you get what you would use most often, save some money today by not buying the items you would rarely use. So what would be the top 3 to 5 items that you feel like you would use most often? Because Ms. Jones, it wouldn't make sense to spend money on items you would never use. So what would you use most often? By the way, I love that phrase. It wouldn't make sense to spend money on items you would never use. So which 3 to 5 do you feel like you would use most often? Oh, okay, cool. So those 3 to 5, excellent. Those 3 to 5 run for this price, this monthly, this weekly, and I could still give you an extra item for free. And here's what's cool, Ms. Jones. When you're ready to upgrade, this amount will be deducted from the price that I quoted you earlier today, and this will allow you to get started with your most used Cutco items, and you'll be done. D-O-N-E exclamation point. Never need knives again. So what do you think, Ms. Jones? Did you want to get started with your custom package today, and then I'll give you a tray to hold them in for free? Does that work for you? Or do you want me to show you something else?
Show me something else.
Cool. Now, No problem. Miss Jones, I'm so glad that you got to see Cutco today. It's pretty cool, isn't it? And thanks for taking a look at a Cutco and helping me with my appointment. But since you like it, I have to tell you this final option, though. It's called reserving your buy now bonus. Just like saving a sale at a store, so you get entitled to all of the benefits that I mentioned today. So by placing an order today on one item, it does a few things for you. It locks in your first call special, which is your buy now bonus. It allows you to get discounted and free products in the future because now you're a preferred customer. And you at least have a Cutco knife that you can count on in the kitchen for the next 30 plus years. So out of these three items, which would you use most often? The trimmer, the spatula spreader, or a cheese knife? The cheese knife, I love that cheese knife. That cheese knife is amazing. It breaks down to be about $1 a day for 2 months, and you'll have the best knife in the world, and you'll use it every day. It's like a bottle of water or a trip to the vending machine. And you could even spread it over the 2 months if you'd like to. So what do you think, Ms. Jones? Did you want to do that? It's $1 a day for the next 2 months. So it'll end up being like, I don't know, 30, 40 bucks a month, 2 months, $1 a day out of the budget. So what is that? How does that sound? Did you want to go and get started with Cutco today? Yeah. Cool. So that way we have it at least recorded. The mindset, let me talk about the mindset and then we'll do a pair share. The mindset here is, number one, I must show them every single option that we have, every option. And every time I'm showing a drop down, I'm getting that much more excited of why the next option might be best for them. I'm telling you, closing percentage is more important than average order. I would much rather have a 90% closing with a $300 average order, because 90% and $300 average order, that's $2,700 sold, right? Or you get a 30% closing with a $500 average order or a $600 average order, it's only $1,800 sold. Well, if you do the math, I'd rather have a high closing percentage with an average order than a low closing percentage with a higher average order, because now you have a client that you can market to year round. So when Mother's Day comes around, when 4th of July comes around, when the next holiday comes around, now you have a client and you're a rep on record and you can market to them. Closing percentage is critical. Those smaller orders are going to turn into larger orders, especially at the end of the push and year round. Be a very intelligent business owner and get your product line in their hands. You know they're going to love it 100%. And those three options are the best in my opinion, because they all have a razor sharp double D edge, or they're unique where they'll actually use it all the time. So never sell a paring knife or a chef knife. I always like to see, even though a chef knife is more expensive, I would sell them one of those three because they're going to be unique. They'll be used, and you will get a phone call later on and buy more. That's my opinion. So questions, comments, thoughts before I give you guys a chance to run through this once each real quick. Cool. So let's do, we got, looks like 7 minutes. Let's see if we can run through it, once each in that 7 minutes. That would be the goal. And then we'll wrap up.
Mike, what I'll do is after the role play is off, I'll have a few comments to kick off our rep driven session. So
Cool.
if you're we're going to meet in the back and set up our rep session. Do you want it to join us as well? Cool. Let's get a role play. Mike, can we give Mike a round of applause first? Mike, thanks for broadcasting that. You want to go to Jeffrey Gamble, Florida United page.